Next, we're happy to welcome Jesper Wiklund, CEO at Klaria Pharma. Welcome, Jesper. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Michael. So I'm here today to present Klaria Pharma. Klaria is a platform technology company. We have a drug delivery technology that we're leveraging to develop new drugs against serious illnesses where there are high unmet medical needs that our technology can solve. We are listed on the Stockholm NASDAQ, publicly traded. Our lead program is sumatriptan alginate film, which I will, of course, tell you more about today. And we also have another platform, or a further platform, with a number of assets in development. So how does our technology work? Our technology is a film. This film is the size of a small stamp. It is placed on the inside of the cheek directly onto the oral mucosa. And when the film is placed onto the oral mucosa, whatever drug that we've loaded into the film transfers from the film across the mucosa, as you see here, and directly into the blood. So what does not happen is that despite the fact that you put it into your mouth, it does not go into your stomach. It goes into the blood through the mucosa. So this is a similar mechanism of action that you would have if you inject something or if you use a nasal spray. But there's no need to use any of those technologies. You just have a very simple film. So this is our pipeline. We have 3 clinical programs currently in our pipeline. We have sumatriptan, adrenaline epinephrine, and naloxone. I will spend the majority of this presentation describing sumatriptan because this is now a program that is basically through clinical development and is ready for filing for approval. But I did want to mention about our platform that we have 2 partnerships. We have a partnership with Imbrium Therapeutics, which is a pharmaceutical company based in the United States. And we have a partnership with Fluimed, which is a pharmaceutical company based in Germany. What's important about these collaborations is that this is, from Klaria's point of view and from the point of view of our shareholders, a very, very important way for us to further our development programs together with partners. The partners pay for the program, so we don't actually have to spend our investor capital on these programs. The development is fully paid by the partner. And then in the future, if this makes it all the way to the market, we will also get royalties on these products. So it's a very good way for us to basically further our pipeline, continue to work, continue to deploy our technology in various programs without having to spend our own capital basically in doing so. And also another very important thing about these collaborations is that these are pharmaceutical companies which are, of course, absolutely expert in their field, and they have spent a significant amount of time and money doing due diligence on our technology. And so the fact that 2 companies, after having done this very serious due diligence, decided to work with us gives us, and should give all of our investors, a lot of confidence in the fact that our technology is a very interesting technology and that stands up to scrutiny by world-leading experts in their field. So if we switch then to sumatriptan, which is our lead asset, this is where we are right now. We are ready to file for approval in Europe. We will do so this year. We have to do 1 more clinical study in the United States, and that we will spend next year doing that study, which puts us in a position to, towards the end of next year or the beginning of 2024, file for approval in Europe. The study that needs to be done in the United States is a so-called toleration study, which is an open label study meaning that both the doctor and the patient knows what will, that they're getting the drug. And it's just to make sure that there are no local irritation or any other problems with the application of the film. We have no reason to expect that this is going to happen. The European Union said, you don't need this because everything that's in the film is already known to be safe and well tolerated. But the FDA insisted on it, and whatever the FDA insists on, that's what they get. So that's what we're going to do. But again, we're ready to file in Europe and this year already for approval. Also very important is that this product, the doctors that prescribe this product are not a general practitioner. It's a so-called specialty product. It's prescribed by a specialist neurologist that has as a specialty to treat migraine. So it's a fairly small group of doctors that needs to be reached. So a smaller company with a smaller sales force can absolutely do a very good job of marketing this product. And we are a technology company, and we're very much focused on developing our technology, and then we will partner with other companies that are experts in commercialization to do the actual commercialization. And the fact that we can partner with specialty companies makes the universe of potential partners for us much larger, which is obviously an advantage for us. So a few words about the sumatriptan treatment of migraine situation. So this is a fairly complicated slide, but basically what this says is if you come into a doctor and you're diagnosed with having migraine, the first thing that doctor will tell you is change your lifestyle, try to have less stress, and they'll give you some paracetamol or some ibuprofen. If that does not work, you move on to prescription drugs, and in pretty much all cases, you get a triptan, which is the class of drug, and in pretty much all of those cases, you get sumatriptan. So sumatriptan is by far the most dominant treatment for migraine worldwide. Once you do get a triptan, the first thing that happens is you get a tablet. So that's here, first triptan. If that doesn't work because of nausea or because of other problems that you might have with the tablet, in the majority of cases, you move to a different formulation of sumatriptan, a nasal spray or a subcutaneous injection. A doctor might choose to put you on a different drug, such as rizatriptan, which is another drug from the same class, but typically the flow is you get a tablet. If that doesn't work, they move you to a nasal spray or to a subcutaneous injection. Now, what we want to do is we want to replace the nasal spray and the subcutaneous injection. So we want to be the choice for patients and doctors where if the tablet doesn't work and you're looking for a new formulation, you'll get sumatriptan alginate film. And we believe there are a number of reasons why we are superior to the nasal spray and to the injection. And we have proven in clinical studies that we are as efficacious as the nasal spray. So this is a clinical study that we've already done. And so this is the market positioning. We're looking to take that second spot. We will, of course, get some patients also from a third spot where maybe they try a nasal spray first and that doesn't work and they move to the film. And we might also get some patients, especially adolescents and young people, where they move directly to the alginate film, because especially for young people, there are a number of advantages of the film also over the tablet in a first-line treatment. But when we think about the commercial opportunity for sumatriptan alginate film, it's really this positioning that I showed in the previous slide, where first you get your tablet, and if that doesn't work, they move you to a second formulation. It is here that we're going to get the majority of our prescriptions. And that will result, according to a very extensive market assessment study that we have conducted together with a world-leading consulting firm called LEK, which is recognized as being sort of the leader of this type of studies in the world, really, in this sales. So we think, and this is in millions of dollars per year in annual sales. So according to this market projection, we're going to get to about $500 million or north of $500 million per year in sales in the United States and in the 5 largest European countries. And again, our goal and our strategy is not to do this marketing ourselves, but rather to partner with companies that already have these sales forces, that already have access to all these doctors, that are probably already in the migraine field, and we then get a royalty on the sales, on these sales. When you're trying to understand also, I think, a a market, it's very helpful to look at comparable transactions. There are two comparable transactions that I'd like to highlight. The first one is here. This is in 2019, in the summer of 2019, so a few years ago. Dr. Reddy's, which is one of the leading, or if not the leading, Indian pharmaceutical company, sold to Upsher Smith in the United States a sumatriptan formulation for a nasal spray formulation and a sumatriptan injector pen. So again, this is not something new. This is something that has already been on the market for quite some time. But they're saying, we have a better nasal spray and we have a better injection pen. They sold this asset for $110 million, 70 of which was in an upfront payment and another 30 was in very near-term milestones. So this speaks to the fact that Upsher Smith, and probably other companies as well, because you don't end up paying over $100 million for something if you're alone. So our read of this is that both Upsher Smith and other companies looked at the sumatriptan market, looked at the unmet medical needs that are still in this market, and said, this is worth, for an approved product that was recently approved. The product was approved in about 5 months prior to this transaction, $100 million. That's one very interesting data point. The other, more recent, happened this month, in fact, on the 10th of May. Pfizer acquired Biohaven Pharmaceuticals for $11 billion. Now, Biohaven is a maker of the leading CGRP molecule, which is a novel way to treat migraine. And this comes after sumatriptan in that treatment slide that I showed you earlier. So everybody that gets to the drug that Pfizer paid the shareholders of Biohaven $11 billion for, everybody that gets to that drug has first come through sumatriptan. So that's another, we think, very interesting data point to show, that there's actually a lot of things happening in this market, in the migraine market. There's still a lot of unmet need, and powerful, large players think that this is a good place to be, as of course do we. Finally then, given all of this potential that we have, we need a good team to realize this. We have, over the last few years, put together a team with people. We've included here the summary of where these people have been. So, we have people that have been at some of the leading big pharma companies in the world. We have people that have been at some of Sweden's leading pharmaceutical companies as well. And we've now worked together. This group has worked together as a team for about 2 years. Hans joined us a little bit more recently than that. But this is a team that's working very well together. And each of us, Mark, Hans, Fredrik, Scott, myself, are really experts in what we're doing. And I would actually argue that, we have a team that is several sizes larger than sort of the company that we have right now. And this is a team that our company can grow into and our pipeline can grow into. So we're very well equipped to take both sumatriptan Alginate film towards the market with the help of a partner and to take our pipeline further. Klaria Pharma, traded on Stockholm NASDAQ. We have a clinically proven platform technology where, with our lead asset, sumatriptan Alginate film for the treatment of migraine, we have proven in a clinical study that we are as effective as the nasal spray without having to have all the negatives of a nasal spray, but just by popping a film into your mouth. Our lead program is ready for registration in Europe. We have one more very manageable clinical study to do in the United States. So we're close to the market. We have partnerships with 2 pharmaceutical companies, one European, one American. And we have a team with a very deep experience that we feel is very well positioned to bring this company forward in the next couple of years. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jesper.
Thank you.
You talked about the importance of the partnerships for Klaria, and your most recent partnership is with the German pharmaceutical company Fluimed. How do they add to Klaria's workflow?
Yeah, these partnerships, so if you think about, we can actually maybe go back to the pipeline. If you think about what we've done with sumatriptan alginate film, we have spent the last 5 years basically working on this molecule from the very beginning and taken it all the way to where we are now, where we're about to get that filed for approval. So, we've done all the work, all the formulations, all the clinical studies. This is a very time-consuming and it's also very expensive. Now with these two partnerships, we're doing that, but we're doing that together with a partner. So most obviously, they pay for everything and we make money along the way. But secondly, it's another set of eyes, and these are experts, of course, as I mentioned previously. So it's also very, very helpful for us because, it's another team. We leverage their experience. They help us in setting strategies, et cetera. So, really, any platform technology company has to prove its technology, as we have done. You have to prove it clinically. It's very hard to convince a pharmaceutical company that you have this wonderful technology if you haven't actually proved it. But once you have proved it, really, I think the gold standard way of doing things is to do things in partnership. And that's where we are now. We've done 2 of these. We want to do more. And we have the data to show that it works. And obviously, if you have 2 partners, it's easier to get your 3rd. Once you have 3, it's easier to get your 4th. Sure. So this is really where I see the future of Klaria, is in doing these partnerships and actually using our resources in a very conservative way, and then building royalties as these things come to market.
Speaking of your other partnership, the one with Imbrium Therapeutics, it's come time for them to exercise their option. How important would you say their decision is to Klaria?
So this will, of course, be very important. What needs to happen in this program is that we need to run a clinical study, and based on the data of that clinical study, where we will see in man how the drug is taking up and how well our technology is working. Based on that, they will then make a decision whether or not to continue. And those clinical studies are now ongoing. It's going according to schedule. And we look forward to finishing up those studies and then to get into discussions with our partner about what the next step is. Maybe this year, maybe beginning of next year, they will come to a decision, and when they do, that will then trigger, the next milestone and moving into more clinical trials. The reason that I am a little bit soft on the details here is because this is a very competitive area. This is an incredibly exciting program. If you could put a epinephrine into a film and thereby replace the EpiPen, which is, as is a multi-billion-dollar market and product, that's going to really revolutionize that whole field. And we're not alone here. And in agreement with Imbrium, our partner, we have decided to be more restrictive with our communication, also for competitive reasons. But we think end of this year, beginning of next, we should be in a position where we pretty much have to announce whether or not we get the milestone and move on, and by then we'll all know how it's going.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Your board of directors recently decided on a directed share issue that should bring in around 23 million SEK. Yeah. How will this strengthen the company?
Yeah. We are still a development company. We're developing our products. We do not have any product on the market, so we don't have the recurring cash flow from a product. We do get cash flow from our partners, but that's lumpier. So we are still dependent also on investor capital we raise this money to fund the operations and the filings, etc., with sumatriptan primarily. So that's sort of a normal part of our business model, and the fact that we're able to do that, I think, speaks to the quality of our programs. We're also very happy that we were able to do a directed share issue, a so-called riktad emission, and we did that to a new investor who is a very high-quality investor, extremely well-informed, and we're very happy to have in our sort of investor collective. And so beyond the money, of course, every time we do a riktad emission, and we do that to a new investor, which we have done now 3 times over the last 2 years, we add a new investor into the mix, which of course strengthens our company for the long term.
Great. Well, that's all the time we have
All
for
right.
today, but
Great.
Thanks so much, and
Okay.
we wish you all the best for
Thank
your
you,
upcoming
Michael.
work. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.